which has been attacked the most in 2020-21 also. And of course, as I said, the 93% of the business data breaches come from social engineering attacks, which brings us to a very moot point that the individual working in the organization has been compromised. The human error, clicking down a link or doing something, not following the do's and don'ts, that has led to 93% of the business data breaches that has happened in the last 2 years. So the need to make every individual aware of cybersecurity principles, the do's and don'ts, to ensure that he is well trained, he is well aware of the breaches that are happening is so very crucial in the present times also. So what all this brings us to the very moot point is that security has become a very crucial, complex problem, a crucial problem. And so we need to deliberate on it. We need to look at what the threats are coming up, and we need to plan strategies. We need to plan policies to really look into this. And the most important thing is for a societal point of view, from a law and order point of view, from a nation building point of view, we should understand that every individual has a very crucial role to play. As I mentioned, every individual in the organization, of course, has to play a very crucial role in securing that organization. But in the nation also, every individual has to secure themselves. They have to secure their device, their financial, the packages that are available. So every individual needs to play his part, because a weakness, a vulnerability anywhere can be exploited by these elements also. So that is very, very crucial in the present time. And it is not only generally cybersecurity, the moment you talk, you think it is a public activity, and so the public sector only needs to look at it. No, it's both a mixture. Cybersecurity is important both for the public and the private sector. And both need to coordinate. They need to play a very crucial role in ensuring cybersecurity. That's why most of our initiatives of Cyberdome and all other initiatives are basically built on the platform of public-private participation, which is so very crucial also. And what we require now in the present times, when we're looking at a new global order, where internet and digital world has changed the whole paradigm of jurisdictions. For the world, for the internet, for the digital world, there is no local global jurisdiction as such. So we need to really build in a new global order, a new system in place, policies in place where countries coordinate, because with our present law and laws restricted to one country, we really can't go on anywhere in the digital world. So it's a new world order is required. I think talks are happening, and very soon this new world order with regards to regulation of the digital world needs to come in, and I hope that it will come in very soon also. And as I mentioned, the important part is to have trained manpower. The IT professional or the trained CISO is required now. We know that world over, that's one commodity that is lacking. But with the increase in technology, with the increased digitalization, the human element is very important. A trained human element for every organization, or every individual trained and aware of all those cybersecurity principles, is very crucial for our organization, for a nation building process also, so that our cyber resources, the infrastructure is safe with all times. And then, of course, the most important part, as I mentioned earlier also, cybersecurity awareness, starting from the students, from the children, down to the user of senior citizen also, when he uses digital resources for transacting in the banks. Everybody needs to be cyber aware. And cyber awareness, it is not a process that stops with one session. It's a constant awareness of the new things that are coming up, new threats that are coming up, new things that you need to do. Because unless you are abreast with all those principles, there is all the likely chance that you will be a victim. So that is very crucial in times where cybersecurity has to be dwelled on, and we are looking at it on a major framework. The government of India is doing it, the police department also is doing it in a big way, and the world over, cyber awareness has been the key to ensure cybersecurity also. And of course, it's a constant cat and mouse game. What is secure now is not secure tomorrow. And so we also need to look at our cybersecurity technology. We need to look at cybersecurity policies, the awareness campaigns, everything we need to keep on changing with the changing times, because the threats are changing months together. Easily within 2 months, new sort of cyber crimes, new sort of technology, new sort of complicated things are coming up. So your policies also, your technology, your devices needs to really be tantamount to following those threats and mitigating them. So it's a constant cat and mouse game that we need to really look at. And every organization, we need to really look at the cyber security nutritional facts also, whether a strong cyber security culture is there, whether a program is a must, and whether the cyber security health of the organization, the individual, the nation is at the highest possible level. As we follow the COVID-19 principles of health security, we need to follow all these cyber principles also to ensure that we are cyber safe, not only on a national perspective, but on an individual basis also. So that is the few things that I just wanted to throw up basically for discussion during this summit. And I'm sure you're going to discuss many of these points in the coming day with all these experts available, at Sunil and Ilyas and all the good speakers that are available. I just want to end on a note that security, another statement by a former FBI director, which says security is always too much until the day it is not enough. So when the day it's breezed, you feel security is not enough. Till then, you feel security is always too much. So the importance of cyber security is a very important concept, and it's very good that we have such summits deliberating on these concepts of cyber security. And I'm sure this conference also will go a long way, not only in securing the individual, the organizations, but securing in digital India also, which is one of the main tasks that we are all looking at. So thank you once again for this opportunity for coming and speaking at this conference. And I'm sure the RedTeam Security Summit 2021 is going to be a bigger success than the previous ones. And we are going to deliberate on a lot of relevant topics, and a lot of solutions also are going to come up as a takeaway from this conference. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful speech. Thank you for enlightening us with the insights on the present and the future in the cybersecurity domain. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Ilyas Cooley uncle to deliver the keynote speech. You are welcome, sir.
Hey, hi.
The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Good morning to Manoj sir, Jaisal, Sunil, and the whole team behind this summit, and the delegates who are watching us across the world. It's my great privilege to be joining the great personalities in cybersecurity, Manoj sir, who is a role model for all of us, and Sunil. We were watching and we were together over a long time in the professional community and professional field. Whatever I was thinking to talk, Manoj sir actually, in a very short, crisp manner, he has covered the whole problems on cybersecurity and the whole expectations from the community, from the industry, to tackle those issues. Just to top up on that, I just want to share some of my thoughts. For a change, I did not come up. I came without any presentation or any deck. I just want to make sure that it's just my personal experience and on the ground skills and knowledge what I gain. I wanted to share with the delegates rather than just giving some theoretical thoughts. As Manoj sir mentioned and touched upon, the challenges in cybersecurity is evolving and it is changing. And last 2 years, it actually exponentially transformed into a bigger phenomenon. When I joined my organization 5 years back, I have set up a strategy for transforming the security in a certain type and certain level. I have achieved that. But when I reached 2020, the whole expectation has been multiplied. I mean, the whole challenges have been multiplied, where I cannot actually work with my earlier strategy on cybersecurity for an organization. Similarly, countries, nations, and public, they have to be adopting those change, landscape. The landscape is changed in such a way, the COVID triggered changes which obviously moved everything into digital and online world, including our children learning online, public who were not even knowing what is internet now using internet to buy things. Everything is moved, even the health sector. I mean, we are consulting now online. The whole world is now completely depending, and the whole world was able to survive the COVID pandemic in certain extent because of the availability of digital channels. Just imagine it, if it is happening 30, 40 years and where we did not have the digital platform. So it actually, the technologists and the cybersecurity professionals who were unsung heroes were behind providing that platform for the world to survive in this pandemic scenario. And that actually was the first challenge for a security professional. The digital adoption and the financial and economic stress on organizations and countries to move to more and more digital to avoid the physical presence and the physical real estates for officers and other stuff. And the challengers obviously not able to go to office for work. That really made the cybersecurity professionals to think different, think proactively, think in an agile manner to provide secure digital platform for organizations and public to manage the pandemic. It was a shock in February, March last year for all of us. And then we cope up with that to make sure we still have the grit and the capability to provide. So that actually triggered the digital transformation, that triggered the cloud journey, because the cloud was limping till that time. But then the financial cost optimization requirement and the faster time to market really push cloud and digital to a much expedited stage. Then it comes the already existing offshoring requirements or offshoring. Again, it is a cost optimization requirement for organization. For banks, for example, we had to depend on a lot of offshoring of our services and capabilities. So that is another expectation or another challenge what we have. Then this actually forced the regulators and the law agencies or the law governments to come out with laws, regulations, new regulation. For example, in the GCC, we have now even data privacy regulation has come up, and even the law has published recently in UAE. So this is again another requirements which we as CISOs or security professional has to cope up with. The threat landscape itself, the change is actually not only not only because of the fraudsters or the criminals who were on the physical world moved to a digital world, but it is actually the nation state, the terrorist organization, the political agenda motivated activists. All of them are using this as the most easiest anonymized channel for taking their revenge or taking their political agenda further forward. The AI, artificial intelligence, the data analytics, all of them actually now triggering more and more sophisticated attacks that could be very targeted, very fast delivered attacks. Even a phishing email can be customized in such a way that an identified targeted individual's vulnerability can be very sophisticated manner exploited. That could be an individual, that could be an organization, which can be done in a very customized, very targeted manner using the technological advancements. So security professionals or security teams or security industry has to be proactively looking at these things. Again, not only from a cyber external perspective, because that is actually a mistake many of us do, that we think that security attacks are only from external. It is not. It is actually a combination of internal and external. There could be a collusion, there could be a risk that could be originating from inside. When you are looking at the outside world, you're forgetting what could be an insider threat that could be not only a service brought, bringing down the service or service interruption. There could be a potential fraud that can be originated because of a weakness in information security control that went unnoticed, that was not looked at, and you were trusting the internal people. We have to be having trust, but at the same time, as an organization, as an industry, as a government, we need to have the right governance, right monitoring across all our assets and from all different type of internal and external users. So how we can approach security? The security, in my principle, I probably, whoever heard me in the past, I keep repeating this, but I don't feel shame to repeat that, because security for me is very, very simple. It is confidentiality, integrity, availability of information and services. Now, if you want to think about information security, I mean, not only cyber external, but I would look into it very comprehensively as information security is how to ensure our information, our most sensitive, most valuable information and most valuable services are protected from confidentiality perspective, integrity perspective, and availability perspective. These terms are self-explanatory. Because of lack of time, I'm not going in detail. So how these are being achieved? By having the right process or framework or policies or governance, and having the right people awareness. That people awareness, we always talk about, normal users awareness. No, it is actually the executive management, the leadership, the government, the ministers, and the board of directors, and the IT technologists, and the information security people, I mean the CISOs, they all should be aware at the level what they should be. They need to be knowing what are the expectation from them, what is the right thing, what should be done, what is the strategy they need to decide. So the level of awareness among all different type of users are extremely crucial to ensure CIA. And having the right technology or technological solutions to support, to defend, to protect, to detect the cybersecurity or information security incidents or breaches, potential attacks are also very, very crucial. A combination of all of this and many other parameters we can define, but I'm just making it very simple. CIA through PPP, people, product, and process, is what security you can think in the shortest or simplest manner. So we have to ensure we have security. If we take NIST kind of standard or NIST framework from US or many other framework which are actually depending, it's about manage by having right processes, governance, and policies. Identify your risk and threats in a proactive manner. Detect if something goes wrong. At least you detect on timely basis, and respond. How you respond effectively, professionally, systematically, on a timely manner, and recover in case worst thing happen and you have a data breach or an incident, how you recover from your previous state, and build resilience in your organization, in your security program. So that is actually from overall approach perspective, and we as CISOs, and we as an industry has to be collaborating. I mean, what Manoj sir did in Kerala in Cyberdome, where me and Sunil and many others work, and Jaisal and team works collaboratively with Kerala Police and Cyberdome, is an example and is a role model for the whole world to see how public and private can collaborate as a society, as a community, to brainstorm, to find solution, to discuss and come out with approaches. So on that front, now we mentioned about the resource capability. I mean, and Red Team as bringing out the talents and coming out with professionals who has the right security certification, credentials, and skills is doing a great job. Where I just want to share some of the initiative I'm actually doing to hopefully to inspire maybe few around this discussion forum. Some of the thing, because what we find is that people has theoretical knowledge only or certifications and training only, lacking could be an on the job experience and the right practical knowledge. So getting that mentorship and onboarding these fresh minds is something which I as a professional, because we as a community, we cannot just spend time on our job and doing our work only. We as an industry has to come forward to find how we can bring out more and more cybersecurity professionals who have the right passion, right attitude, right skills, and the right ambient environment for them to develop into a better professional. So this is something which I always ensure that I have a program internally to onboard fresh mind, and probably I mentioned earlier, I have even people with physiotherapy background. I have an executive chef in my team who developed into a cyber security expert now. I have someone with 25 years banking experience now is an excellent cybersecurity or information security expert. So this is a thing which there is nothing stopping someone to be a cybersecurity or information security professional. It's about their passion, their attitude, their interest. To develop, to find out that this is a field that they can enjoy and they can grow. So another, initiative what I have, formulated or came out is, there is a cybersecurity mentorship, groups which I manage, where you are all over hearing it are welcome to join with us. I mean, you can contact Jaisal and team to get my contacts, and we provide them career guidance and mentorship in cybersecurity and opportunities in cybersecurity field to find the right opportunity, right openings in across the region. And another initiative or mentorship I have done is the secure reading, which is actually some of the very young minds around whom I know, whom I was able to guide and mentor them to come out with secure reading as an online cybersecurity portal, one place for sharing security information. They're doing wonderful in the industry now. There again, people who are interested to contribute and join them, happy I can connect them with the right teams. And the other aspects of our industry engagement, which is actually very crucial, is what I've mentioned earlier, our collaboration with Cyberdome, and speaking in these conferences and engaging in the forums where we are able to exchange ideas, we are able to share our skills and knowledge and complement each other in such a way that the industry is benefited. Because unless we understand that the industry, the cybersecurity industry or information security industry has as a team, as collaborate and come out with innovative approaches, innovative ideas and comprehensive solutions, the bad guys, the criminals, the hackers are going to be one step ahead, and they are actually a partner always. When an attack comes, someone call for a target and attack, they're all immediately available to attack the targeted organization or individuals. Similarly, or even before that, more proactively, we as an industry has to be more collaboratively come out with approaches and solutions, because cybersecurity is going to be a huge challenge. As you might be knowing, the recent zero-day vulnerability that is published, immediately the industry has come together and come out with solutions and come out with approaches and compensatory controls, which really put us in a better shape than we being isolated and individually only approach these issues. So I would like to conclude my small talk just to tell that the industry need this kind of events and conferences and collaboration and platforms where we share our ideas and thoughts. And I would really appreciate Jaisal and team to put together such a wonderful event. It's a proud moment to associate with you for last couple of years, and all my support are assured, and happy to join with you in any initiative that you're coming out with in the future for cybersecurity. And also I really congratulate your team, who is actually coming out with very innovative and very interesting solutions and ideas in the industry. Thank you again, and thank you, Manoj sir. Thank you, Sunil, for spending time to hear me. And thanks to all delegates across the world who were having the time to listen to me. Looking forward, and please get my contacts from Jaisal. I'm happy to share my experience and knowledge at any point of time in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an amazing speech. I totally agree with you where you said that COVID-19 has totally changed the cybersecurity landscape, and where you told like at each level you should be aware of the cybersecurity threats and all the initiatives that you are doing. It's a great thing. And to sum up that, the one line that is coming to my head is, this is what experience and passion feels like. Actually, thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful speech. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Sunil Varki to give the keynote speech. Welcome, sir. The stage is all yours.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session, and quite excited and privileged to a wonderful session like this being hosted in Kerala. So my next 15-20 minutes time, I'm trying to go through very similar to what Ilyas and Manoj sir has stated, just to look at what the state of cyber we are currently in. So if you look at this, is some of the newspaper headlines in the last couple of months we see around us. So attacks are going all times. The SMBs are getting attacked heavily. There is a huge shortage of security professionals in the industry. If you take any country, any region, any industry, the information is almost similar, because everybody, irrespective of where they are or what industry they are, everybody is under attack. We are also seeing a huge difference or an evolution on the attacks, that more and more attacks are happening on the critical infrastructure. Earlier, 2 years, 3 years back, we never used to see so much on the critical infrastructure. Why? Infrastructure were exploitable. Many done it because it was a war if you try doing an attack against a critical infrastructure. But now it doesn't seems to be a major issue for the adversaries. The critical infrastructure is under attack. And this is also going to see seeing another problem for us. So far, when an attack happened, we have seen that as an economic offense and not as more of an economic offense. And at the end of the day, it was all sorted with a penalty or a regulatory act on that. But when the attack is happening on a critical infrastructure, this is going to affect or impact the human lives. So Earlier, when a attack was happening on the economic side, it was the economic law enforcement body used to talk. Now we will start seeing the crime unit of the law enforcement started talking to the security professionals. And if we are saying that it was because of a default password or vulnerability never fixed or we never assessed it, we will have directly or indirectly a responsibility for human life, which happened due to a cyber. That is the way things are getting worse. Now, if you look at why is it happening globally on that, because there are few triggers which has happened. Digital transformation was an agenda for most of the enterprises and the government for the last couple of years. But when the COVID happened, there is an accelerated move on the digital transformation. The cloud adoption, COVID work from home or remote access enablement into enterprises. This was never done in a very planned, structured manner. Many of this was happened on a hurry-burry to make sure the business is running without a problem. And we also, earlier itself, we had a big problem with the shadow IT or unsanctioned applications and systems in the network. But COVID era accelerated that much further. OT and IoT is getting converged. Traditionally, the OT IoT environment is completely isolated from the traditional IT side. But now, due to various reasons, it's merging or converging for the convenience purpose, dashboarding, remote connectivity for fixing issues, all of that thing. And also in the OT IoT environment, we have the IT components like the virtual environment, switches and everything. That's also becoming a problem there because of the exposure. And we have a huge federation of trust, blind trust to the third parties. And any impact happening on a third party at any level is also impacting our company. So the problem is that earlier when we wanted to worry about our fortress with a layered security, we knew exactly what was exposed and how we were controlling it. Now we went to an era with extremely federated where we have no control or visibility of what is happening. Like Manoj sir earlier mentioned, self-induced wounds is one of the biggest problems because there is a policy very clearly stating that this is what you should do and we should not be doing. Some are not following it. The S3 bucket by default is closed, but for testing purpose, for all of that thing, somebody's opening up and never closing it back. Millions of data is going out to S3 buckets. We are not following the configuration guidelines. And all of those things are creating a huge problem in the enterprises, which is triggering a direct impact with the huge attacks which we are seeing across us now. And this actually made a big problem for us. We have started seeing a huge traffic pattern changes. Traditionally, we used to see very limited external IPs in our enterprises and more of was internal IPs. But now we see more of an external IP rather than internal IPs, and the traffic pattern completely changed. And we worked on an environment for ages in the Fortress model, very limited exposure. We knew exactly the baseline of how our traffic pattern happens, which application runs it. We had a clarity. Now we lost everything with these changes on the left side, what I mentioned on. We also started seeing unmanaged and decayed systems. When users went home, we gave additional privilege, administrative privileges, additional the data movement to them, all of that thing to make sure the business is running. Now, because of these privileges, unsanctioned applications are getting downloaded. The misuse of the corporate asset is happening, and they are coming back to the organization on a periodic basis. Even if the way we are now currently working is in a hybrid model, on and off between the office and the home, there we will start seeing machine going out, decaying and come back, and where that's not the way we worked. Because in the Fortress model, we always had a trusted environment inside and the external was bad. Now we are not even trusting, we cannot even trust what is inside because of all these changes. Proliferation of unsanctioned applications and systems. Stringent, so this is actually leading to a stringent regulations and audits. Because the fundamental foundation block of digital economy is trust. Because everybody who's sharing your data, connecting to your network, doing a transaction with you, sharing your, using their financial details with you, everything is based on a trust. And if that trust is being compromised or compromised in any manner, it will be too difficult to sustain the growth of a digital economy or to even continue that. And we also bought a lot of technologies to support our layered environment, but these are all isolated point-based solutions. And now, because of that, the problem is we need an average an organization has around 15 to 25 different technologies, like a firewalls, the proxies, the antiviruses, EDRs, and all of that thing. We expect the security professionals to understand at least a couple of these technologies to master on that, because they are changing. We need to troubleshoot, we need to make it effectively, leverage all the features, and a lot of our skills are getting spent or wasted on managing isolated different consoles and technologies. And while we have a huge problem with skill shortage where they need to focus on core activities, they are spending a lot of time on isolated controls. And we created so earlier, as I mentioned, we were in a Fortress model where very limited exposure to internet, and we knew exactly it was governed. Now with all these transformations, we have a broader digital footprint and with too many blind spots. Like our system connected from home is exposed direct to internet, and we were never designed that way. I know many large organizations, when the COVID happened, they even moved desktops to individuals' home to make sure the business is running. And these are designed to be independently, directly connected to internet, and that's where we are. We no longer work on a perimeter approach. We are working on a very flat network, and due to which we are seeing a huge lateral movement of attacks. So essentially what happened is that from a restricted, governed exposure through layered security, we moved directly to a direct exposure with blind spot. And that is directly correlated to the attacks which we are seeing right now. What is the impact of this dynamic change? Highly motivated adversaries. It is easy to attack and meet their objectives easily. There is a lot of comparison between the physical world and the cyber world. If you look at even from the medieval era, in the physical world, wherever there was a valuable asset which can be exploited easily and run away without being caught, attacks always happened. We are in that wild west in the cyber world right now. Highly motivated adversaries just trying to take out everything possible from a huge attack surface which is exposed and vulnerable. Supply chain vulnerabilities and compromise happening because if a company need to be attacked, they don't have to attack directly. They can go to their weakest link in one of their supply chain and attack there. The end user, our constituents, are mandating for better assurance and trust. Ransomware attacks are going extremely skyrocketing. Every 40 seconds, there is one ransomware attack globally. And the prediction is that if it is not controlled in any manner, in the next couple of years' time, maybe around 5 to 10 years period, we will see one ransomware attack every 2 seconds. So that is an extraordinary, confused or chaotic situation we are talking about. And we are also seeing a huge difference because traditionally the security we worked was with agent-based solution. We put agents inside and the agent will give the insight and the control what we need to achieve. But when BYOD or unmanaged or an OT or an IoT, like a printer or a camera, those are devices which cannot have an agent inside. And agent also has its own problem because agents die. The moment you have 80% or more disk space been taken out, first thing dies is an agent. So agent-based solutions are no longer reliable. We don't have visibility across our environment because a lot of unmanaged and third-party systems are connected to our environment. And with these attacks, we have very limited time to detect and respond. And for an attacker, it is much easier now because in every attack, more and more credentials and configurations are getting leaked. And that is easy for them to take it down and attack us directly rather than doing a lot of recon. This is mandating every enterprises to relook at the security architecture. They need to continuously work on the reduction of attack surface. If you look from a penetration versus red teamers perspective, traditionally we followed a waterfall method where applications get developed. It comes for assessment on a periodic basis at a particular toll gate. Now the problem is with the agile model, the changes are happening so fast and so many applications. There are a lot more applications in enterprises where we cannot have a delay at the toll gate for everybody to wait. So the focus on shift left is happening. A lot of shift left activity is happening on to reduce the attack surface. I have written a blog or a 9-page document on the shift left concept. If you're interested, you can have a look at that. Orchestration security controls. We need a single platform where most of this, the fixing of an antivirus agent or an updations or responding to isolating a particular bad systems or anything, everything should be done through an orchestration of security controls from a platform. Here also we earlier created traditional NAC where pre-connecting to an environment, we said we are going to assess the security of that. The modern way is called CDM, continuous diagnosis and monitoring, where on a periodic basis we are validating the trust. So there's a lot of changes we need or mandated because of this change. The foundation again is identity and visibility of users, devices, information, workloads, and traffic, whether it's in the cloud, premise, or third party. Now we are in an environment, too many blind spots, and the expectation is to protect, even if you don't have a visibility of what is connected to our network and what is the posture of it and what is the context of what has been connected. That is the dilemma we are in. Like I mentioned, the physical world and the cyber world has a huge correlation. Let me just go back on these few words which we see almost every day in our newspapers or every blogs we look at. Quarantine, lockdown, isolation, virus alert. This is from a biology, from a COVID era. That's how we are seeing it on a daily basis. Let us look at what is that correlation between COVID and cybersecurity. If you look at on the viruses side, we had seen Ebola, which is extreme. The mortality rate of an Ebola is 39.2%. The Spanish flu was around 10%. SARS was 9.64%. And the corona was only 1.4%. But we had maximum impact due to corona and Ebola or a SARS or any of those things. Why is that happening is the way we looked at the correlation between the biology and the cyber is the delay in detecting, quarantining, and fixing the issue. That 14-day period where we mandate people to go for quarantine, because this is the time they are infected, but we are not detecting it. We have not identified it, and we have not quarantined it, and due to which they transmit heavily to other people and make more people infected. If you look at it in the cyber, it has the same problem. Because since we lost the visibility and since we are looking at a point of time-based assessment, we have this delay, which is creating a huge problem. Because mortality rate of COVID is not high as what we have seen earlier in other pandemics. Corona has become extremely bad because of the delay which created there. If you take an example on how we on the transmission events, how the government and the public all intervene, saying that we need to do hand washing at very periodic time. That is where we are saying that our agents should be updated, we should scan the systems. Then we said keep the mask. That is essentially we were saying quarantine, segment the entire thing out so that we are not mixing the people with it. No fly zone. We are not allowing, because in the physical world said no flight zone, because we are not allowing these lateral movements to in a big manner. And a classic example we have seen in the glucose metering, because the diabetics what we had, we came out the technology invented saying that we can find out at a point of time whether you are infected or your diabetics or the glucose contents are high. That was good. We identified, we check on the morning, we found there is a problem, we have a medicine taken, we control it. But the problem is there is a huge delay on a daily basis on identifying and administrating the medicine to make it fall. So how it changes, the pads came into picture where they on real time continuously they check for your glucose level, and if it is required they immediately administer the required medicine to ensure that your glucose controls have been taken. Only if you reach to a security in that manner where we can continuously monitor and administrator either to mitigating the issue or isolating the issue, we will be able to survive the current way of attacks which is happening over there. In cybersecurity, if you look at delay at every point, identifying, fixing, isolating, everywhere we have huge delay. And as long as this delay is there, we cannot be better than our adversaries, because adversaries don't have to worry about any of those. They are on real time. We always learned, or we were taught, that we need to look at security from a risk lens. But our problem currently is that our risk lens is completely out of focus. Visibility context security poses a dynamic factor. We don't have any visibility on a sensible time. Our adversaries are changing, are evolving in a big way, and we need a new mindset and approach and prioritization to sustain. Because if you follow the traditional model, it is too difficult to excel in our mission. The way forward, many organizations globally looking at is that to create a better visibility and segmentation, look at attack surface management, orchestration, continuous monitoring, and then if these are being managed, move into zero trust approach. Log4j, I just thought of covering that, since that is the big issue we are currently facing. 3 years back or 4 years back, I have written a blog saying that our developers are blindly downloading open sources from GitHub, Spacebins, and everywhere, and using it in our applications, on critical applications, and we don't maintain any software bill of material. And if something happens at some point of time, we don't even know where it is being used. 4G was not so bad like just picking from a GitHub thing. It was a well-reputed code, open source. Everybody used it, a huge number. But now the problem is, when issue happened is, we don't have a software inventory to say where all it's been used. In the same application, it could be used in multiple versions in multiple places. So even if you know that thing, it is not like patching a single server where a Microsoft patch comes, you push it. The developer has to get into that particular source code and change the code and come. You need a developer. When that is happening, you need to be clear what is the impact on the dependencies which it has. And this came in a time where the change management freeze in most of the organizations are effective. And not only the security team, we need the business team also with you when this change is happening. And it was announced on 9th, but it says that it was non-released by 1st. 2 patches has come out after that. But the problem is, it's not easy to get deployed. And we are yet to see a huge, huge, huge impact of this particular thing. And this is also going to change the way we perceive security moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful session. The way of explaining things from the past and the present, comparing that, all was very effective. I think audience really understood, like, when you compare the past and what changes happened in the present. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for all the suggestions also you gave along in your speech. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunil sir and Ilya sir, for joining us today. So it was great, pleasure for us. Also, we are privileged to have you all. To especially our one of the key motto for RedTeam Security Summit is to give the real insight to the audience, especially from a leadership point of view, of the eagle eye view of cybersecurity. I hope the audience really enjoyed your keynote addresses.
So, Jason, just let me also put that I'm quite excited and happy to see the number of participants.
Yeah.
And an event like this being organized from North Kerala. Okay. Because we have a huge potential. We have extremely good talents with us.
Yes.
And cybersecurity is a domain which has a long opportunities in a big way. Because there is at least around 20-25 core functions within cybersecurity people can choose. Okay, yes. 2 weeks, 3 weeks back, I was in Saudi Arabia on a capture the flag event. I counted 400 young Saudis, majority of them ladies, active on that. It was amazing to see, because that is a huge crowd. dedicatedly sitting there and doing it. If you look at this particular thing, I am very impressed with the number of people over there. There is a huge potential. Like Ilyas mentioned, we are all around you. So if you wanted guidance, handholding, we are all there. We can make that happen. And there is a huge opportunity. So let us all work together and collaborate to make a better cyber workforce for us.
Definitely, sir. That's our motto and our
Thanks.
vision towards. Yeah.
So we are reaching the end of our inauguration session. So I would like to thank everyone. It's really heartwarming to see such experts like discuss everything, and we youngsters getting to know about all these things. Even I am actually getting a lot more interested to get into the cybersecurity domain. So thank you so much. So once again, I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Manoj Abraham, IAS, our founder and director, Mr. Jaislali sir, then Ilyas Kuli uncle, Mr. Sunil Varki, thank you so much. I hope you shine in your field and you reach more heights than you are right now. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you also the audience who listened. I am really happy to see the numbers. So thank you all for attending the inauguration sessions. Like from the beginning itself, from the beginning, inauguration itself, this much participation and enthusiasm to the cybersecurity domain is really happy and really heartwarming to see. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your presence, and I hope we can collaborate in the future as well. Like Yasser mentioned in his keynote speech, like in the future also, if there is any need, we are there to help. Sunil sir also mentioned right now. So thank you so much for all the support you guys are giving for RedTeam Security Summit and the RedTeam Hacker Academy and RedTeam Cybersecurity Labs. So thank you all. Thank you, audience. So 11:30, we are starting our first session of RedTeam Security Summit by Mr. Ahmed Halabi. It's based on bug bounty hunting and reconnaissance. So if you guys are interested, you can go to that session and attend. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Ilyas, sir. Yeah.
Thanks, Jaisal.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Camilla.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.